Joining us now, many of you participated last month with the Seal Beach Run, and joining us now is not only the winner of this year, but two-time winner, yes?
Yes.
Alan Grant. Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's so exciting, your second win.
I know, I feel like a celebrity around town. I walk down the street and people are like, hey, you're the guy that won the marathon. And I got to say, you know, it's a 10K, it's not a marathon. But well, yeah, it's exciting.
For those of us who don't run, any length is the marathon.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It's a pretty big difference, but yeah.
Yes, I bet it is. But how did you get started running?
I've pretty much been running my whole life. I mean, I was always fast when I was a kid. I did sports. I tried to do sports like football, basketball, but the only thing I did good was run fast. That's it. So,
okay.
So I did track in high school, track and cross country, kind of went from there. And then I started doing 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and then went on to the marathon a couple years ago.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, yeah.
So when you were in high school and college, what events, kinds of it, you did track meets then?
Yeah, I did the sprints to start off with, quarter mile, half mile, and then kind of went up to the mile and the 2 mile.
Yeah. And then, so it's gradually just through your life gotten further and further along then.
Yeah, and then cross country is 4 miles and then 5 miles, so kind of like goes from there.
Okay.
So I didn't want to do long distance at first. I wanted to stick to the sprints. But I tried it, and you know, I like the challenge. So yeah, started doing longer distances, and then before I knew it, I was doing half marathons, and then I'm like, well, I'm doing the half marathon. Why not try the full marathon?
Wow.
So I tried that.
What motivates you to run? Because there's some people, you know, the idea of getting out of bed and going for a run is.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not always easy to do it every single day.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of therapeutic to go out there and run. You leave everything behind, leave the phone at home, you go out and just run. It's a good stress reliever because I have a pretty stressful work environment, so I can kind of leave that behind. And I like the competition aspect. I like getting out there and competing against other runners. It's always a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, very good. Now, how many marathons did you say you've participated in?
Well, I've done 3. I did LA twice.
Wow.
My first marathon was LA, and back in 2002, I think. And I did San Diego Marathon once, so a total of 3.
Okay, and marathons, 26 miles?
26.2, yeah.
Wow. So the 10K was just like a warm-up for you?
I guess so. It's relative.
Okay.
Because it's faster, so you're running at a faster pace. Yeah, so there's a little bit less strategy than in a marathon. You don't get to pace yourself as much. And this 10K, I was behind another guy who just took off from the start. So he took the lead, and for the first 4 miles, I ended up chasing him. So I was a little bit in doubt as to whether I would repeat this year. And finally I caught him on the riverbed right before the final turn. I caught up to him, and he kind of ran out of gas. So just kind of waiting for him to get tired, catching up to him.
Oh, very good. Very good. Yeah. So that strategy worked, just kind of hang back a little bit and let him tire himself out?
Yeah, you know, that's kind of an aspect that I kind of enjoy. I mean, reeling the guy in, you know, seeing him coming up to him, and yeah.
So you give them you allow him this false sense of security, say that he's ahead of you there, you know, and were you wiping your brow and letting him feel like maybe you weren't quite going to make it?
Possibly, yeah, a little bit of that, yeah, yeah. I just can't help it. When I get out there, my competitive instinct kind of kicks in.
Really?
Yeah, starting at the start line and then going through the race, just kind of natural to me.
I'll be darned. Now, and were you competing also with yourself because you had done so well last year?
A little bit,
yeah,
a little bit. I just go for a good time. I don't necessarily go to run to win, because runners will tell you it's always based on, you know, you're trying to beat your last time. So if you did 34 minutes last year, which I did, you want to do 33:50, something like that.
Okay.
So,
and forgive me, what did you do this year?
It was 34:20.
Oh,
so a little bit slower than last year, but
you still won.
Yeah, I still took first, and there was more competition this year. So, and there were a lot more runners this year, which was awesome.
Yes.
The race just keeps getting better and better.
That it does, and everyone who's participated, everyone seems to enjoy it. You know, folks who were just walking last year went ahead and trained this last year. So for folks at home who are considering training, what would be some of the tips that you would provide since you've been running for so long?
Well, if you're training for your first race, you should train with somebody else. It's always good, the camaraderie. Maybe join a running training group. That's always good. Yeah, that's really important. And what else? Registering for a race is also important because it gives you a goal in the future to aim for.
Okay.
So like say it's like 6 months from now, you're going to register for a race, and then you have that goal to kind of aim for.
Okay.
You don't want to get into monotony and just keep running day after day with no goal in sight. So, for example, I have this race coming up on July 4th in Huntington Beach. It's a 5K, 4th of July 5K.
Okay.
Which is an awesome race. I recommend it for anybody starting out training. If you're running your first 5K, that's a great one to run. It's really fast.
Okay.
So something like that, where you have a goal in the future and you kind of aim for that.
Well, if you make that commitment, then you know you're more apt to follow through because you've registered for it. You've got yourself signed up for it.
Right.
So that's a good tip. It's a very good tip. And now, what kind of fuel does a runner like to have? Well, we know what kind of fuel.
For me, it's pizza. Every single day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, pizza all the time. No, not really. Maybe a couple times a week, but you know, it's important to have a balanced diet. I do eat pizza, and people were asking me because you know I own Z Pizza on Main Street. They said, "Well, do you eat pizza? And did you eat pizza right before the race?" And the answer was yes. You know, I eat every Friday night. We eat pizza, and this was the race was on a Saturday morning, so the last meal I ate was a pizza.
Oh, very good. You know, and I've always thought, God, he's so thin. How can he possibly own that and not eat? Because that pizza is so delicious. But you're nice and trim. But now I understand why, because you're a runner. Now, do you run with the team?
I used to. Obviously, when I was in college, I was running with the team, and I was with running clubs up until a few years ago. But lately, it's been solo. Okay. Because I really don't have as much time to train, so I'll just jump into races at random. I really don't do a lot of training. I just go out and run races, and like this last race, just jump into it for fun, see how it goes, and that's fortunately this last one turned out positively.
Very, very well. So, and congratulations. We really want to thank you for all that you do supporting us here at Studio Cafe as well. But we are very proud of your win this year. It's second-time winner. And so for those of you at home, you got some stiff competition here if you're thinking about signing up. But I suggest that you plan it now and start training and give him a run for his money, if you know what I mean. So thanks so much, Alan. But we're going to head on over to Eddie, Montana.